How much excess body fat do we humans collectively lug around? How much energy and money does it represent? How much does it cost us every year? And what could we have done with it for the benefit of everyone? Nearly half the world's population struggles with excess weight. The approximate volume of this extra fat is 24 billion liters. That's about the same as 150 million barrels of oil. And human fat is in many ways similar to crude oil. In fact, this amount of fat is enough to cover almost 2 days of global oil consumption. In electrical terms, that's 260 gigawatt hours. If a technology existed to efficiently convert fat into electricity, like in the Matrix, then humanity's excess body fat could power 60 million people for a year, roughly Italy's population. Now, how much food like hamburgers and fries did it take to accumulate that fat? 708 billion hamburgers, valued at about $3.5 trillion. That's 90 hamburgers for every person on Earth. 1.5 trillion servings of French fries, worth around $4 trillion. Laid end to end, they'd circle the globe 142 times. 71 billion chickens, 6 times the world's annual production. 708 million pigs, more than half the global yearly pig population. 270 million cows, about a quarter of the world's cattle. But here's the real question. What did we get in exchange for using up all these resources? Globally, obesity-related expenses exceed $3 trillion per year, about 3.5% of the world's GDP, which is larger than the GDP of most countries. Excess body fat causes multiple consequences: increased demand for food and resources, severely reduced quality of life, reduced productivity, psychological problems, and shorter lifespans. All of this places an enormous burden on healthcare systems worldwide. Over a decade, total spending related to humanity's excess fat runs around $32 trillion. With that amount, we could have funded 113 Apollo-scale programs, built 200 international space stations, kept NASA running for 1,000 years, established a permanent base on Mars, given clean water to the entire world's population, eliminated world hunger, provided high-speed internet to every person on Earth. This naturally raises some tough questions. The world's money is our shared resource. Someone who maintains a healthy weight pays taxes that do not go toward improving their own social security or health care, but instead pay for the consequences of other people's obesity, often a personal choice. How is that fair? How should we handle it? How do we regulate it? Especially when so many people are like children who throw a fit if you take away their chocolate or make them brush their teeth. How do we solve this? Whenever I see someone with excess weight, I wonder, how much have I personally paid for that? I also have questions at the airport when they try to charge me $50 for 2 kilograms of excess baggage. And I look at the check-in queue and see that more than half of the passengers have weight problems. Airbus, a 320 flight. On board 153 passengers, 73 people with normal weight and 60 people who are overweight. The approximate total weight of excess human fat on the flight is 500 kilograms. If passengers were subject to the same rules as baggage, the airline would receive about $12,000. But they don't do this and try to get their profit through draconian prices for excess baggage. We strictly monitor every kilogram of baggage, but turn a blind eye to hundreds of kilograms of excess weight. It's an obvious economic injustice, because taxpayers who look after their health end up subsidizing the effects of unhealthy lifestyles. It's like the situation with smoking, where non-smokers also pay for smokers' healthcare. I can already hear the outrage about human rights. But the problem must be addressed. The first step is determining the boundary between personal choice and true medical necessity. Then we need a system of incentives and penalties. Differentiated insurance premiums based on BMI. Bonuses for maintaining a healthy weight. Penalties for exceeding certain BMI thresholds. What do you think about where we draw the line between social solidarity and personal responsibility? How should society support its members? Is it fair to pass the consequences of individual choices onto everyone else? Tell me in the comments. For a vivid illustration, imagine the bomb we could make from humanity's excess fat. In terms of TNT, it's about 375 megatons. That's 9,000 times the bomb dropped on Hiroshima, and 7 times more powerful than the largest thermonuclear device ever detonated. Such an explosion would form a fireball 50 kilometers across with central temperatures in the tens of millions of degrees, similar to the sun's core. Trigger a magnitude 9 earthquake on the Richter scale, create a crater several kilometers deep and dozens of kilometers wide, wipe out any major metropolis entirely, and cause severe damage for hundreds of kilometers around. We've reached extraordinary heights in technology, creating artificial intelligence, decoding the human genome, and sending rovers to Mars. Yet our ancient animal instincts remain the same. Just as thousands of years ago, we're still ruled by basic impulses that once helped us survive but now lead us to self-destruct. Excess human fat isn't just a medical statistic. It's a tangible sign that we can't control our instincts in a world of abundance. Every year, this bomb grows by trillions of dollars. Money that could take us to the stars, yet ends up around our waistlines instead. It's time to admit the obvious. We need external systems of control. Just as we regulate alcohol and tobacco or enforce traffic laws, we need clear guidelines to protect ourselves from our own lack of self-restraint. This isn't about limiting freedom, it's about ensuring the survival of our species. We stand at a crossroads. Either continue spending trillions to manage the fallout of our instincts, or find the wisdom to recognize that sometimes true freedom lies in choosing to accept certain limitations. The choice is ours. But the price of that choice isn't just in dollars, it's measured in years of life, in unfulfilled dreams, in undiscovered technologies, in unbuilt space stations. So what do you say? Think I'm exaggerating the problem? Hit dislike, that's also a reaction that will help make this conversation louder. Agree that it's time to stop turning a blind eye to the trillions of dollars we spend fighting the consequences of our own inability to control ourselves? Subscribe and hit like. Better yet, do both. Because regardless of your position, this problem needs to be discussed. Every like and dislike is your voice in the conversation about how we should spend these trillions. Continue wasting them on fighting the consequences of obesity, or finally direct them towards bringing humanity closer to the stars. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss upcoming videos. And yes, comment. I'm genuinely interested in hearing your thoughts on where the line between personal freedom and social responsibility should be drawn. Time to decide. Are we gathering fat or gathering stars?